So when we first started VOS, I think it was Pete and Caesar's idea. Might have been Juan too. I know. I was talking to my brother and I asked him, how in the hell did I get involved and how did I end up playing guitar? And because I was so into competitive surfing, that was like my main thing. All I wanted to do was just go to sleep, wake up in the morning, go surfing, contests and blah 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 and this and that. And then I started playing guitar, and I think Peter and Caesar they decided, and then I somehow ended up playing guitar. One was on drums, and we'd practice at Caesar's house. We were terrible. Feel sorry for his parents. And then did that for a while after taking lessons, like I said, and then we figured out how to tune our instruments together and how to tune, and started writing just generic punk rock songs. Got our first show with Anti-Krieg. That was scary, but it was our friend Keith. He drove us there in his van, and shit, I was 15. I think me and Caesar were 15. Pete and Juan were like 14. We were really young. And I know we played with Anti-Krieg. I don't know who else played that. I mean, I was talking to my brother trying to figure out, we played a lot of shows with the Oxnard guys like Aggression and Dr. No. We played a lot of parties in the town we lived in. Our friends, they had just started their band, The Upbeat, and so we would play parties with them. We were kind of frowned on because we were noisy punk rock. They were ska, so they were a little more friendlier on the ears, especially for parties. And then so we practiced at Caesar's house. We got a couple songs down, played our first show, and then we were pretty excited after we played a song, and when I look back, how it was just a freaking train wreck and just horrible. We didn't play in time or anything, but after, just even if there's only one person that cheers, like I think because we were little kids and we actually got people like cheered, and we're like, oh man, this is freaking awesome. We're making noise and people like it. So after that first one, I was hooked on playing live, and we wanted to learn more songs and play more, and as the band VOS, as we went, we were only a band for 2.5 years, but we played a lot of shows. Red Barn, parties, the park in Isla Vista. It was fun. We played a lot, and I gotta sometime try and do like a live thing and try and get the other guys, get my brother and Caesar and Juan. I don't know if I can find Juan. If I can get a hold of Caesar, I don't know if I can get a hold of Juan. Caesar probably could, and then see if we can do like a live, just a chat between the four of us and just talk about the old days and how we started. They might have more info than I do, and kind of talk about how we started the band and just everything like that. But it's been so long. I'm kind of fuzzy on a lot of things because I was talking to my brother. There was a show with Dr. No and the Melvins years ago, and I was like, did we play that show? For some reason I thought we had opened, and then I know we played with Short Dogs Grow. They were pretty funny live, and Beyond Possession, Slog 13, Aggression, Sicky Velvet, Resistant Militia. Man, there were so many bands we played with back then. I can't remember. They might know more. Like I said, I'll have to try and get a hold of them, see if one day we can put it together and just do a live group chat and talk about it. And I'd actually like to try and do some live things and get some of my other friends that were in the scene back then, or in punk bands and stuff like that, and kind of go back and forth with them about stuff from back in the old days in our little scene when we were kids, and punk rock and all that stuff, and see if I can try and put something like that together. I'm sure there's probably a lot of kids into punk rock nowadays that would like to hear from us old farts that were back in the late 70s, 80s that, you know, were in the punk scene back then, and it was a lot different then than it is now. Every time you went to a show, you're just like, oh crap, you know, waiting. It's kind of like, you know, NASCAR when they're on the super speedways waiting for the big one. You know, we go to shows wondering, oh shit, you know, you got the different, like the skinheads and the peace punks and the, you know, all the different ones, and there's fights all the time, and so kind of just like going, oh shit, what's going to happen this time? You know, we went to shows down in LA, Olympic Auditorium or Fender's Ballroom, and you know, we're in the show and there's a shooting outside. They lock the doors, and you know, we're stuck inside, you know, waiting for everything to clear up. So it was kind of sketchy in the old days because things were a lot different back then. They weren't quite as peaceful as far as people are nowadays. There was lots of different cliques. So it was quite interesting. It was always sketchy going to the Olympic Auditorium and shows down there. It was fun because there's a lot of good bands that played down in LA, but it was always kind of sketchy, you know, coming from the little town going to the bigger cities where things are just a little bit different down there. You know, it's probably still like that, but I've noticed as I got older, there was more, you know, people got along a little better as far as different areas and stuff, so it's definitely